It's over. It's just a matter of time. And, and I said is that both Green Bay and Aaron have something to lose. He's an older quarterback who's been nicked up several times in the last 3 and 4 years. And that if you roll the dice on this, Aaron gets hurt, he's not attractive, the market shrinks. There's just too many good young quarterbacks out there, and the old guys are playing longer. And for Green Bay, you're not going to get nearly as much as if he's coming off another collarbone injury or another injury. And, that's why I've said I don't think it's out of the question that Green Bay, if they got off to a great start and Denver got off to a terrible start, and Vic Fangio's there is clawing for – it'll be the last Vic Fangio head coaching job in his career, and he's begging the general manager to pull the trigger because Drew Lock isn't cutting it against Justin Herbert and Derek Carr and, Patrick Mahomes. Denver's situation is they have the fourth best quarterback in their division, and we're not even sure he's going to make it. And so Aaron's the best quarterback in his division, so I could see this at the trading deadline, and Aaron's a guy that would pick up an offense fast in Denver. It wouldn't take him forever. So, but here is, and I've said before, I don't like being trapped. I'm a fairly restless person, and this is where I sympathize with Aaron, is that he's trapped. And this is why I hate the franchise tag for quarterbacks. I think it's great for guards, weak side linebackers, tight ends, kickers. I think the franchise tag stinks for star quarterbacks. That basically he can't go anywhere. And they could franchise tag him for years. I think it's awful for quarterbacks and awful for Aaron because, like Deshaun Watson's case, if you're carrying a dysfunctional organization, and Green Bay's not dysfunctional, it's a lousy place to be in life. And you can say, oh, he's well compensated. Well, Aaron's going to be well compensated wherever he plays in this league. You want to feel like you've got an organization that's got your back, supports you, gives you the elements that can go up against the Russell Wilsons and the Bradys and the Mahomes and win. But I do think there is some leverage for Aaron here, is that Aaron's got a lot of options and a lot of interest in life. We saw the Jeopardy thing. He kind of, he travels. He's got a beautiful Hollywood fiance. Aaron's leverage is, I'm not going to a crappy team. I will retire. And Jets, if Zach Wilson busts, he's not going there. He's not going to Detroit. He's not going to Houston. He's not going to Philadelphia. So it does limit. Green Bay has got to send him somewhere. Because if I was Aaron, and I think I'm a good employee, but if I was Aaron, I would make it very clear at some point, if you start hearing trade rumors, and just say, I will retire unless this is a legitimate playoff roster or an experienced head coach. I would just come out and just say it, because that will scare all the teams off. I do think there are 5-6 teams that are pretty interesting for Aaron, and that Aaron, I think, would actually be a good fit, and it would work. The New York Giants. The defense is great. The defense is, talent-wise, I think, better than Green Bay. The Miami Dolphins, they got everything except the quarterback. What if Tua, by Thanksgiving, were like, it's not working? The New Orleans Saints, again, great GM, great coach. They go big in free agency, tremendous offensive line. The Washington football team. Ron Rivera's been to a Super Bowl. That defense is the best in their division. They've added some really nice pieces. They have added Curtis Samuel to an already pretty good wide receiving core. And the Pittsburgh Steelers, they feel a little like the Packers sometimes. They're kind of burrowed into the past. But you do have a strong family, an excellent GM, a great defense. You got to upgrade the offensive line at some point, because I think it's the worst Steeler offensive line in a decade. But I do think these 5 teams, the Dolphins, the Saints, Washington, Pittsburgh, Giants, Aaron would be the kind of guy that could take that roster, elevate it. It'd be great. But, the one thing where I support Aaron is star quarterbacks, and Aaron's got his issues too. He's trapped. Green Bay can trade him wherever they want. He can't go anywhere. If he holds out, he loses money. Now, Green Bay's not as good as if he holds out, but they're not going to lose money. So I do think with the Schefter news today, you've got to consider, where are the spots? What is out there? Where does he fit? And I think those are 5 or 6. Now, Daniel Jones and Tua would have to struggle this year, or at least struggle enough so the people inside the building are like, we can't get to where we want to get. I think Daniel Jones, my opinion, probably going to make it. The Giants have shown a history of being pretty patient with their quarterbacks. It took Eli Manning a long time. So I think Daniel Jones is going to make it. I don't with Tua. So the Miami one, to me, is the top of the list because you can move him to the AFC. That football team's ready to win. That football team could play for the AFC Championship up against the Buffalo or Kansas City if you gave them Aaron Rodgers. I don't doubt that for a second. I think the coach is great. The special teams are great. The defense is great. And now they've added Will Fuller to a pretty decent wide receiving core, upgraded the O-line.
Since they're going to be featured on Hard Knocks this season. And Stephen Jones is excited for things to get started. He said, we're pumped up. All these things leading up to the season are huge. Obviously, our world has been through a lot with the pandemic. You can't just assume you're going to flip the switch and everything is going to be fine. We feel a lot of buildup, including Hard Knocks, is a good thing to get people fired up about reconnecting and rolling. They went 6-10 in McCarthy's first season as a head coach, and they've missed the playoffs the last two seasons. You have them at 9-8 this season, with Washington at 10-7, Giants at 8-9, and the Eagles 4-13.
Listen, sometimes the advantage is where you play, and they play in a division where the Eagles are completely in rebuild mode. The Giants aren't, but don't know if their quarterback's good. And Washington's got the best defense, but we are looking at Ryan Fitzpatrick. Is this the 9th team in 17 years? So that's why Cam Akers to the Rams feels like a staggering loss because of that division. Dallas has massive questions on defense. Rams defense was number 1 in the NFL. The Cowboys was the worst in terms of points allowed, and you would not be shocked if they won the division.
No, I wouldn't be shocked if they won the division. No. I actually think they will win the division. No. While I do like the momentum that Washington has built, the foundation that Ron Rivera has brought into there, the culture he's brought in there, their defense is incredible. I'm sorry, we all like Ryan Fitzpatrick. I don't trust him as the everyday starting quarterback in Washington. I understand this is the division, but I don't understand that move.
Right.
It's obviously not a long-term move.
Right.
Ron Rivera felt like maybe they have some plans they're going to attack next year. I think they're going to be too good to be in a situation to draft a quarterback.
Yeah.
Regardless, I could see Dak coming back and having a huge year and compensating for what the defense is not, especially in this division. But they do have a lot going on right now. You have Dak coming back. You have that defense. What's going on with McCarthy? You have Hard Knocks. Everyone is still dealing with the pandemic. It's a lot. But one thing the Cowboys always are is interesting. So Tom Brady has said he wants to play until 45 many times. He's just